of encapsulating everything that's happening in the Kern High School District with regards to athletics, arts, drama, you name it. We've got it right here. Right now, we're in the fall. Right now, we're heavily into fall sports. My name is Vance Palm. This is Stan Greene, the Director of School Support Services, the boss, the guy that put all this together 9 years ago. And this is Trevor Horn, freelance journalist extraordinaire who has a long history here in Kern County of pretty much knowing anything and everything about high school sports. And we're so lucky to have him with us. Today, our director, our producer, the man behind all of the big equipment is none other than a well-known name and a name heard often on our Kern High Network live broadcast. Julian Wilson, also a Kern High School District product. He is back there, and he's chit-chatting with our very, very special guest we're going to have in the second quarter. Here's how it works. Since we're so slick and so smart, we really came up with this unique idea of 4 quarters. Woo! So we're going to jump right in because we've found out that we have so many things to talk about, so much content in this show, that during the show, I have to write down ideas for full show content. That's how much we've got going, and today's a big one. First quarter, we're going to talk about the magnitude of what it means for a weekend of high school sports activities, athletics in Kern County. We're going to get that in a second. In the second quarter, a very special guest that ties into the first quarter about putting all of this on. Wait for the special guest. Third quarter, it's off to the races. We have to jam through everything that's happening tonight and tomorrow and Saturday.
My favorite part of the week.
A lot going on. And in the fourth quarter, we're going to wrap up this whole show and get ready for tonight, tomorrow night. And then next week, we have even bigger news. This thing keeps going. Stan.
Hold on.
What?
We have football tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah, boy, smart guy, isn't he?
He's on things.
Man, you are. I'll tell you what, my man. Now you know why we brought him in, everybody. He's the man. Stan, before we went on the air, we were just talking about how we just take these weekends kind of not for granted, but we have our routine. I've been doing this forever. We've all been doing this a long time. We know, okay, hey, got to get up, got to do this, got to get ready, got to do this. And then I show up at the football field or the volleyball gym or the basketball gym, and we kind of know what we're doing, where we're going to go on. But behind the scenes, it's almost unfathomable of everything that goes on to get a weekend started like this in the largest high school district in the state of California, if not the country. The breadth and the scope of everything that has to happen for these matches and these games to take place. We've spent the first 2 shows getting ready for this weekend. Now that we're on the precipice of it, we're right on the cusp of it. It's time to go. It's go time. A lot has to take place. You put together some unbelievable numbers, and I want our audience out there, we want our audience to kind of get a feel for everything that goes into what's going to start tonight and end on Saturday afternoon, and that's just week 1, baby. Stan.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, the Kern High School District is like an iceberg, right? You just see the tip. You don't see everything else. I was talking to the superintendent this morning, and we have 5,100 employees.
Oh, man.
And that's full-time employees. And then when you factor in everything else, I mean, on top of that, we've got 1,400 coaches.
Is the district the largest employer in Kern County?
I asked that question. No, it's not.
Really? City, I guess?
County,
the city or county? Okay.
Yeah, he said the county.
But like outside of the actual government agencies, I've got to figure this is the largest employer.
Yeah, we're up there. For sure we're in the top 5.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we look at 5,000 full-time employees and the number's 8,000 when you talk about, you know, people that just pick up 3 or 4 hours with us or string with us, or, you know, just in our office alone, there's 1,400 people that are walk-on coaches that we track.
Well, and 3 of the 5 that are part of the show right now are what you're speaking on.
Yeah, it's just massive. And
and
then, you know, you look at the number of teams that we have in the district. Just on the athletic side, we have 718 teams.
Insane.
Throughout the course of the year. Our student-athlete population, I wrote some numbers on there to share with you. You know, in 15-16, we had 14,400 kids over the course of 3 seasons.
So that's 1 of every 3 students on campus participates in athletics and some point in their high school career?
Perhaps. I think, you know, we still have some dual sport athletes that might count in that you know, calculation twice. We're about 42,000 kids. Most of our schools are averaging between 11 and 13% of their population is participating in athletics on a campus.
Okay.
You know, there's a whole bunch of other things going on campus, too.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
of course.
Cheer, color guard, drum, forensics, fine arts, theater, band. I mean, there's a million different things. So we have a lot more kids involved. It's just not a number our office tracks.
Sure.
And then we kind of went down, in 2021 when COVID hit, we had limited levels. We dropped to 7,403. And last year we were at 14,068.
Right back up there.
Yeah, kind of right back up where our high was. And so we feel really good about that recovery, which says a lot because a lot of kids, when they go, as you kind of go through elementary school into high school, you see the drop-off, right? Because you have maybe 5 elementary schools feed a junior high. Well, every one of those elementary schools had 5 basketball players, but in junior high, those 25 kids are competing for 5 spots. And then when you go to high school, there's 8 junior highs feeding. So just natural attrition. And I think COVID really hurt us on that because you had kids that maybe stopped playing in the 6th grade and never played again. And then, our support staff that we have, 172 bus drivers.
Yeah, and see this is the nuts and bolts underneath that I wanted to get into. Everything behind the scenes that we don't even think about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
And if my memory is correct, it's harder to find certifications for a new bus driver than it is to find a new bus driver too, isn't it?
Well, bus drivers are really hard to find. Yep. And our district, Jason Fowler, Director of Transportation, he does a fantastic job staying as far ahead of it as he can. Mm-hmm. I believe that we actually pay for the training for you if you want to become a bus driver.
Well, I mean, just getting the California certification is very difficult.
It is, and we do that. We'll pay for it. We'll pay for them to come, and at least we used to a year ago. 250 buses. 2,500 pieces of transportation equipment. So on each campus, we have multiple vans. We've got multiple fleet vehicles that are used around the district for a variety of reasons.
And these are all things that people don't understand. That it's not just a bus driver picking kids up, taking them to school in the morning, dropping them off at their houses. It's the shuttling the freshman team on at 2:30 in the afternoon to another campus, and then coming back and picking up the varsity team and bringing them later in the day.
Or while everyone's getting set up for the big show, the football game, there's tennis teams being hauled across the town, and there's swim teams, and that's
volleyball,
that's the crux of this first quarter here is to talk about the size and the magnitude of what it takes to start a weekend like this. We fans, friends, family members go sit down at the football game or go sit down at the volleyball match. There's so much happening behind it. How about all the parents that are involved?
Yeah, I mean, we've got great parent support. I mean, when you start talking about the moving parts of transportation, that is a job I would not want. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is just, a lot of our buses will go to this school, pick up the kids, drop them off at school, and then head over to a later start school, pick them up and drop them off at school, and then go do whatever they do in the middle of the day and then go back and repeat the process. And then on top of that, you got transportation to games, you got time limitations for bus drivers.
And you've done the math on how far that average is for the whole district per year. It's astronomical, right? What is that number?
That's 2.5 million miles is what they travel.
2.5 million miles. How many trips around the sun is that?
Oh, that's back matter.
Are you having a stroke?
From singing math
I got you both. I got you both. Okay, Trevor, now think about this perspective.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to game time, closer to kickoff. We're getting closer to the actual action that all this builds towards. Now it's game time. Not just the officials, but you've got everybody up in the press box. You've got everybody making sure that it has to go right. You have to have somebody having actual record keeping of the yardage, the kills, the blocks, the sets, the pins. There's so much in game ops once the game gets started.
The security, the snack bar, the ticket gate, going along the line. I mean, just going across the board, the different personnel that you need on each campus. How about the cleanup every night so there isn't trash laying around all night long?
And Stan,
you've got lights on until after midnight.
Don't we have to have one ambulance at every stadium?
Yes, you do.
At every football game, yeah.
Yep.
So as you can see, everybody, it just starts to, accumulate in your mind all that goes on here. And the reason we're bringing this up in the show before the season starts is just like we did in show 1, we went under the hood with the CIF and all the playoff brackets and everything changes. This is something we can go back to in our archives and talk about. We also wanted to make sure you know what goes into a weekend in the Kern High School district. And again, we're not just talking football. There's so much that goes on. Then, Stan, how about when it starts to become theater production review time, or with marching bands this coming weekend and all that goes into a marching band. I was in the marching band, and man, it's nothing like it was now. There are parents all over the place. That's another big part of the Kern High School District.
Oh yeah, full-on productions too. I mean, they travel all over. It's amazing how much travel our kids do. I mean,
well, and it's not just one band anymore. I have a niece who's a sophomore at Centennial, and there's 3 different iterations of what kind of band that they have to perform in. It's incredible because they have that many students that are involved in band.
It's a big undertaking, a big project every single weekend. And then when it wraps up Saturday afternoon, if we have some Saturday games and it wraps up, guess what? Then a whole nother leg of the work goes into making sure that all that was captured digitally, whether it was on video, whether it was put into our archives, whether it's going into the Achieve magazine. There's so many things that happen after the last whistle blows, Stan. And I don't want to give away our special guest yet, but post-production, we see it in Hollywood all the time. The movie stars, the big shots, go do the movie, and then they'll go 3 months without having seen the final product. There's a lot that goes on after the lights go off, yes?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You're referring to our secret guest?
There's
a lot that goes on there, and we'll get into that.
You know this from your background, Trevor. The lights stop, the whistle blows, it's over, the game's over, and away you go, right?
I can't tell you how many times I've been like, it's great to see you. I need 15 minutes.
Goodbye.
Yeah, please go away.
You're right.
Because exactly, as a reporter, or even, in the role that I played as sports information director the past 5 years, there's a matter of, you guys get to go home, but there is a ton of work to be done afterwards to be able, before these lights are shut off and the gates are closed and the car is started up.
Stan, one thing how many schools do we have now in our high school district here? How many? We're looking at a big number. When I was here, it was 8. So now
there's 19 comprehensive sites.
19
right
comprehensive sites, 718 teams, over 1,400 coaches, and that includes pool lifeguards. 14,068 student athletes last year, 172 bus drivers, 250 buses, 2,500 pieces of transportation equipment, trucks, tractors, cars, vans, golf carts travel about 2.5 million miles annually. And that doesn't even touch on parental volunteerism and all that goes into it. There, we've done it. We've laid the groundwork for the rest of the season. So now you start to take into account everything that goes on for these weekends. That's going to wrap up the first quarter, because the third quarter, we're off to the races. And coming up in the second quarter, our very special guest that's a big part of the glue of what we just talked about here in the first quarter. And we'll save the introductions to right after this break.
They found me.
You ran as Prince.
This guy says, did we complain about this in the 90s? I don't know what he's talking about.
What now?
Somebody asked, did we complain about this in the 90s? I said, I don't know what he's talking about.
What? Oh, you could have left it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I was just going to leave everything over there. Sorry. I hope it's not sweaty.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Oh, hand me my coffee right by your leg.
The editor and coordinator.
Did you do the rip and the runner?
Yes.
And were those both John?
Danny Edwards and Jennifer Berger.
Oh, John Hart wasn't part of the rip then?
John Hart was my photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer was at the runner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Javier, how many years now at Kern High Network?
7.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Wow. Yeah.
That was last year. Holy cow, man.
7 years.
Hey,
October.
Perucci's asking, are we streaming anything other than Facebook? YouTube?
No, just
And
Facebook
Kern High
and
Network?
KernHighNetwork.com.
And then just archived?
Yeah.
Hold up, guys. Welcome back to In the Huddle, comprehensive show of the Kern High Network, covering everything that we do at the Kern High Network: athletics, entertainment, arts, drama, marching band, color guard, you name it. And in the first quarter, we hope you caught all that. Astounding numbers, the magnanimous size of what goes on here on the weekends, just so we can make sure that everybody's feeling involved in a big part of it. Now, our special guest, you ever have somebody in your life where, well, you're that person to me. He and I, Trevor, we'll play phone tag quite a bit before we really connect. You call, I pick up. You text, I pick up. You email, I pick up. There's one person, if I see an email or a text or a call from our special guest we're about to introduce you to, it's a first time pickup, because I know that if Javier is getting a hold of me, it's important and it's timely and it's on point, and it has something to do with something I'm going to do in the next hour or two. What a treat to have with us Javier Valdes, editor of this unbelievable award-winning magazine, the Achieve Magazine. That's one of the many hats he wears. That's an official title, coordinator of public information, 7 years now with the Kern High Network. Javier is such a big part of being the glue, what we talked about in the first quarter. All those numbers and everything we got into it. Guess who the one person is that has a comprehensive task of kind of bringing it all to you every month, every quarter, and then the Peak Awards. He gives us our rosters. I call out his name 50 times on the air every year because we need him to come up and make sure that all of our directors and producers are all dialed in. That's my take on Javier. We're very thankful to have you, but his official introduction will come from the smart guy that hired him, Stan.
Man, you know what? He's my right-hand guy. I lean hard on him, and I ask him to do a lot, and he comes through. He's over there nodding like, yeah, you do. I love his sense of humor. He's, I cannot say enough nice things about Javier. He's a Foothill High grad. He went to Bakersfield College. He went to Cal State Bakersfield. He helped run the RIP. Is that the Renegade
Yep.
RIP? Right? That's how I've been hitting the head a lot of times since then. And he was editor at the Runner. When I went to hire him, I called for a background check on him, and the lady I called on just could not say enough nice things about him. And I brought him in because the concept was to build a magazine where we had QR codes in it, and you could click on it and run videos. And he came in my office, and a lot of times people come to interviews and they say they can do something. We had this happen, and I said, okay, show me. And then they disclosed to me that it was a group project, and they weren't working on that part of the group project. So with him, we had him come in. I put him at my computer. I said, hey, we want you to build a magazine. Here's the program. Just build me 2 pages. And he's so thorough and meticulous and so attentive to detail. After 3 hours, I came in. I'm like, hey, bro, we got to go home at some point.
I got to hire you someday.
Yeah, let me see. And he just hit out of the park. It was amazing. And, very lucky to have Javier Valdes. And he does a ton of things for us. And one of the main things is the Achieve Magazine. And this is other duties as assigned. He doesn't like it.
Are we going to let him speak?
Yeah. I know.
Come on.
Trevor gets upset even if we don't let somebody else talk. All right, Javier, get close to the mic. Javier, first of all, the first segment of the show, first quarter, as we're talking about all these things coming up, I see your wheel just spinning like, yeah, you're right, fellas. I got to get to work here. How do you when mid-August, early August comes around the corner, how do you start approaching everything, and how do you start setting the table for yourself to get ready for another season?
I mean, right now, that's what we're kind of working with. Right now, it's trying to figure out what are we trying to every year we try to cover every single school, every single sport for everything that we have. So right now it's just kind of trying to figure out all right, what are we going to hit first? What are we going to do week 1, week 2, week 3? And trying to get just the schedule ready to a place where we can have everything we need for graphics, for the magazine, for some of the stuff that Trevor's working with. And that's mainly it. At the beginning of it, it's just kind of trying to not get too overwhelmed because everything's about to start coming in the next few weeks. So
when the magazine came out, I remember, Stan and I, we all remember, and Trevor was on the scene as well when this thing came out. I mean, it was, one quick glance through it, and it was like, wow, this thing's gonna knock it out of the park. I was the smartest Nostradamus of all. Wow, this is going to be great, because we all knew it was going to be great. You've since won many, many awards. The Achieve Magazine, has it come to fruition, or is there more? Are there some new parts of it, some new things that you guys are kind of always thinking about with Achieve Magazine?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, this was supposed to be, it was pitched as a digital magazine. Everything was just going to be 2 pages per school, and it was supposed to be.
Why is he laughing? Why is he laughing?
Because those are his ideas.
You're right.
Yeah. And so that's what I kind of came in thinking that this was going to be. I never expected that it was going to be what it is today. But that first magazine ended up being a 84-page magazine. And then since then, we've just added so much more. We've added extra pages per school site. We've added band. We've added FFA. cheer, color guard,
Amazing.
theater.
The Peak
most
Awards in
recently.
May
Peak Awards,
is phenomenal.
First in class. So like the thing with the district is you could just continue. Like it could be a 400-page per quarter magazine deal, but you know we kind of have to try to focus on something. It would just be too much time and too much efforts that we're spending on putting everything in. So we kind of have to figure out what it is that we want to cover. But right now it's trying to cover every single school, every single sport, and try to get as many things in there as possible. And right now I think we're in a good place where I think before when I first started, every single magazine I was trying to change up the design. I'm like, what's gonna work for this one? I'm like, this didn't really work in the last one. Let's remove that. Let's add something new. And then there's people, just the people that we're putting this out to, like they always have like, oh, you should add this. You should add the leagues in there. You should add so there's always all these new ideas coming to us that we're like, yeah, we should. That would be a good informational piece that can be on there that people might like to read. And right now that's kind of like it's at a place where it's almost all the pieces are in place and everything's just kind of moving along how it's meant to move along. And luckily we have a really good team of photographers and
Amazing.
like writers and video people that just kind of do so much with the things that we're doing, and we're able to put a lot of that at the end of the quarter to kind of just really show what's going on.
Both these guys want some of your time.
Yep.
I'll shoot with Trevor first.
Javier, I would assume that you and I are kind of alike in that we're kind of magazine junkies. We're kind of looking at them, trying to figure it out. And if you guys haven't figured out the way that the world is going right now, magazines are getting smaller. The design print is lesser quality, but yet what Vance has in his hands right now is about as high gloss, and it's a full book that you can have.
Yeah.
How much pride do you take in knowing that you can still put something like that out there when everything else is falling to the wayside?
I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do. Every time you put something out, like by the end of it, I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't want to see it for a couple of weeks because I just need to get away from it a little bit. But then you see the printed product that comes in about 2 weeks after we send it off, and then you're like, all right, this was a good.
It's like Christmas morning. People don't realize it's like Christmas morning. The first time you open that box.
So it's like, but then the reality sets in where it's just like, oh man, like now I have to try to outdo myself for the next one, and I'm like, and it feels like I already put in everything I could into this one. And you just start thinking about like, all right, well, how am I going to get to the creative part that led me to get to here in the future? And but it always ends up happening. Like a lot of the times it's like we don't know what the cover is going to be until 2 to 3 days before we send it off to print. And a lot of the times it's because we're waiting for like state playoffs and stuff like that. Yeah,
that moment.
And then we'll be like, you know what? A lot of the times there's like 2 or 3 versions of the cover. And then we'll kind of all sit down and then we'll be like, okay, out of all the ones that were presented, this is the one that we all kind of feel would best represent, what's going on in the district right now. But it's as a creative, it does kind of like you're trying to figure out how to outdo yourself every single time. And that's the hard part, but it happens. So I guess it's I just need to trust in that I'm going to get there whenever it comes time to.
I have one more hard-hitting question. Sorry. Mm-hmm. How many times do you get a text message and you just reply back, "That's a great idea, Stan"?
No, I mean usually it's not a text message. She'll probably just tell me in our Monday meetings or something. And a lot of the times it's you hear it once and then you hear it twice, and by the third time you're like, all right, okay, I'll add it.
I have to put this in.
Julian, can we switch to this camera right here just very quickly? I want to make sure everybody, are we good? I want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about, because some people might have not picked up an Achieve magazine. Stan, these are spread out all through the community. As Trevor said, high quality, feels good, looks good. I mean, you just
and that right there is Liberty winning the SoCal Regional Championship in Division I in baseball back in June.
Head coach Tony Mills. Team Mills having some fun there, but I mean, just you have it's just awesome, and they're spread out all over the city. It's a quarterly edition. I do want to ask you, your commitment on your side of it was a key to this. How has it been received in the community, and the institutions that we place these in? How's it received from the upper brass?
Oh, they love it. That is our marquee product out of this office. I mean, we do the Peak Awards every year, and that's the thing. We've just, as I said before, we've been very lucky to have Javier, and he kind of touched on it. He is a perfectionist, and a lot of times I'll come into meetings like you said last time, where, hey, I got an idea, and we'll talk about it. And Javier's, the one thing he's always very adamant about is, what's our quality going to be? What is our quality going to be? Because I don't want to do it if it can't be top shelf quality. And I'm kind of like, sometimes let's just do it and worry about the quality later. And so we have a lot of really strong debates on quality. And he's like that in everything he does.
What was that we just saw? The photos of the headshots?
That was the first in class students. So those are the valedictorians.
That's what I thought it was. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And so we're talking
because
about
it's such a large district, you can't put every high school graduate like you would want to in a magazine, but you could put every one of their valedictorians there.
Yeah, well, and one thing too about Javier is he's, in some ways, except for the quality part, he's a lot like me, where he will not ask you to do something unless he's done it.
Right.
And he probably, how many events did you shoot yourself last year?
Last year,
yeah, we should have put that on our
about 130.
Okay, let's put that in perspective.
It's incredible.
There's 182 days of school.
Yep.
He shot 130 events, and we have photographers. But for him, I remember one day last year I asked him, I go, hey, why are you going out to shoot this? He goes, because I don't like the photos I got, so I'm going to go shoot photos because I want it to be top quality.
He's been out on the football field before, catching top-notch picks right in the groove of it all, and I'm like, Javier, get up here, we got to do something, and he runs up the stands and gets it going and then goes back down. Well, that's why we have him on here in the second quarter of our preview of our first evening. Because he is who he is. For those of you that are at any events, no matter what the event is, if you see that man, that's Javier, you thank him. All of our all-star games we have, Stanley, all-star basketball, all-star volleyball games, all those photos that go up. We're going to let you go in a second, but what do you have?
How much and where do they find them?
How much?
Those are free through our generous sponsor, Valley Strong. So Valley Strong gives us a good donation every year.
See what you did there, Trevor.
They're free. They're at every Valley Strong, and they're at every school in the ASB office.
Javier, what do you got going on tomorrow? Tonight, tomorrow, what's up for your personal schedule and where to let you go?
Tomorrow, I'll actually be at the East Highland game. So while you guys are doing the live stream component, I'll be down in the sidelines getting some video from down there. So we can put as in real time as these games are going on. So,
and why did you pick the Highland East game?
So the Highland East game, I picked specifically just in case we have any live stream issues while we are there, that I can go up to the booth to make sure that everything's good.
Oh, I'm glad I'm going to be 200 miles away from Javier screaming at Vance.
No, that's his dedication. I mean, his level of dedication is admired. I mean, it's to be envied that everybody could work like that. The number of times I've called him, I think last year I called him, I said, hey, what are you doing? He goes, I'm leaving a dinner function and I have to go to the office and pick up a wire and bring it out to a live stream.
Yeah.
We all wish we had someone like Javier in our workplace, and Stan's fortunate enough to have him. Thank you for your time. We knew you didn't want to.
Javier, thank you for everything, man.
It's it goes against the grain of kind of who you are to come on here, but we have something very special for you. It's a very, very special moment, very special presentation. Some shows give out whatever they give out, script for restaurants. Some shows give out awards. Some shows give out shirts. But for you, my friend, at 8:44 this morning, this came out of the ground in the hallowed ground of Kern County farming.
Wow.
Now, some of you may be smirking, joking, laughing, not really sure exactly what we're doing here. If you see my social page, I'll post that I pick up watermelons. You should see my messages on the side. How many people are wanting these, asking for these? This cat right here almost robbed me out on the street for the 3 that I brought him. I know Julian and Trevor want one, but I know Stan wasn't going to give you his. So this is a hours old fresh watermelon picked from a farmer that was along a very celebrated offensive lineman for the Highland Scotsman. And he said, look, I want one of my melons to go on your show. I said, you got it. Now, the incomparable Stan Greene has signed it. so it's worth now maybe $5. But Trevor
What
signed
was it worth before?
More. Yeah, you're right. It's depreciated.
Well, then I signed it, and now it's only worth
It's a
$3.
smart guy, but obviously the joke's not lost on any of us. Tomorrow, when you pull it out of the fridge and chop it up, our names will not be there. Javier,
Yep.
thank you, buddy.
I'm gonna have to Stan try it first, just in case. But thank you so much.
Javier, thank you for being on the show. Thank you, buddy. In the Huddle, back right after this. Man, we got to run. Third quarter, we're going to go through all the games.
He's out of here.
He's gone.
He's gonna go. You're gonna go tease the girls in the
before
office.
before we leave today, we'll take a picture with that. You in it? All of that. Excellent. That's great stuff. Okay, where are we?
Yeah, he cries when I call and say I got a new idea. He's like, "Oh, Stan."
That's why I threw in that jab. Hey, you like that? How much and where did they find him?
I see what you did there.
I'm not dumb. Well, I'm not that.
Not coming back to any of us. We're just gonna.
Welcome back to In the Huddle, third quarter time. And as we mentioned, now we're going to start rolling. It's football time. We're going to start going down the list of games, starting with tonight's games and then going to tomorrow's games. We have graphics that Julian's going to be putting up. So bear with us whether the graphics are up or our mugs are in the camera. We're going to start rolling through this. As the seasons roll on, stories are going to start to develop. But already Trevor's put a ton of work into these matchups. So off we go here in the third quarter of this In the Huddle show. Week 1, Thursday night. We start south at Ridgeview. And Stan, you and Trevor just chime in. Trevor, go.
So this is a really intriguing game with two teams with story past and really forgettable seasons. If you think about it, both of them missed the playoffs in 2023. But I will give the slight edge to the season head coach in Kerry Mills. So I've got South winning tonight. This is a game I will be at 26-13.
Oh, you're doing scores too? Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I will do no.
Hi, I'm
scores.
Trevor Horn. Have we met?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I looked at the Cliff Notes and Max Preps, and South is the 15 team in D3 against Ridgeview, the 18 team in D2.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Kerry Mills. I'm going with the South High Spartans.
Chavez at Del Oro. Trevor.
Well, the Suns are still looking for that program's first win and with their first senior class, correct, Stan? On campus. It could come sooner rather than later, you would hope. I just don't think it comes tonight, especially against the Titans. I have Chavez winning 28-6.
You know what? I'm taking Del Oro.
Good.
High school. I got to go for him.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, that takes care of tonight. And let's not forget all that goes into even Thursday nights. However, tomorrow night, it really, really starts rolling. We look at this long list of games here. And Julian, are you keeping up with us on slides? That's what I expected to hear from a gentleman who I do a lot of his weight training for him. I've kind of worked with him on his bench press and those kind of things.
You do the heavy lifting for Julian.
Well, you can just tell by those 50-inch biceps that I've done a lot of work with him. All right, week 1, tomorrow night. We start off not in God's country, but the Bears from God's country will be at Lindsay. Be nice to my Bears, Trevor.
Hey, 75 record for the Bears in 2023. The best program, the best season the program has had in 6 years. A lot of offense returning. bet against the Bears here. I got Arvin winning at 34-16.
So both D6 teams, Arvin, the 7th-ranked team, and Mendota, the 11th-ranked team.
Lindsay.
I'm sorry, Lindsay. I was ahead of the next one. I'm going with Arvin Bears.
Oh, I could sing the entire alma mater right now, but I won't.
Just for you.
Here we. How about next one up? Old school, old school. Delano High School versus new school Miramonte. Delano at Miramonte. Trevor.
In Delano, it's perceived to be the Kennedy and the others in recent years in football, but not so fast, my friends. The Tigers are solid. Lions coach Christian Johnson is excited about his young team, but I give this one to Delano tomorrow night. Delano 27, Miramonte 12.
So Miramonte's the 23rd ranked team in D6. Delano's the number 9 team in D5.
So I'm guessing you're going with the Tigers.
No.
You're going with
I'm going with Miramonte. I'm staying in Kern High.
Good, because I'm probably going to get a phone call in about 5 minutes from Christian screaming at me.
You should.
How about this one? The next one, some new changes, new things, new names happening at Foothill High School.
Yep.
And Morro Bay leaving the cool, crisp weather to travel into the valley to take on the Trojans. Morro Bay at Foothill.
It's funny you say that because in my notes it said, man, Morro Bay got off light. If you think about it, we've had the hottest July in record, and it's going to be about 75 degrees at kickoff tomorrow night with this cooling trend coming in tonight. But it's going to be a beautiful evening. I just don't think it's going to be for Trojans and first-year head coach Chris Weddle. I've got Morro Bay winning 27-13.
Okay, so Morro Bay, number 7 in D5. Foothill, number 14 in D6. Robert Doherty, I believe, is still the head coach at Morro Bay. He's a Visalia guy.
Who cares?
I do.
I know.
But he went to Mount Whitney, so I don't know about that. I'm going to go with Foothill.
Okay, very good. Kern Valley. The very first time we ever heard Trevor Horn's voice in the communities of local sports was when he was covering a game. We called in. He called in. He gave us a report way up in the mountains. This time it's Oakland at Kern Valley. Trevor.
I'm still trying to figure out the story on how this game came about. Because think about it, inner city Oakland school coming all the way to one of the most picturesque high desert sceneries at a high school football stadium.
Long ways away.
And it's a long, I mean, it takes 4 hours to get to Oakland from here. You got another hour and 20 minutes on a bus up to Lake Isabella. A lot of fun. I really like Kern Valley's quarterback. I got the Bronx winning by a touchdown, 27-20.
6-hour drive?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well,
I mean,
they're gonna need some points.
They're going to need a stop. Yeah.
They're going to need some points. I'm also taking Kern Valley, number 15 team in D6.
Okay.
Tough place to win. Tough place to win. How about this? We're in the city. The Stockdale Mustangs. I'm and by the way, I'm not weighing in really on anything, but I weigh in on this because some changes at Stockdale last year. New coach. Now it's his second year. We'll kind of see how that's progressed. Going up against North, where they just had their coach move over to Liberty. I know you've got some notes on this, but Stockdale at North, Trevor.
Adam Levinson's head coaching career begins at home against a familiar foe. You think about it, as a player and an assistant coach, Levinson's been on the opposite side of the field from the Mustangs countless times. But
Stan?
this one will be, I give this one a little bit of a slight edge, even though we know it's going to be a ground and pound for the Stars tomorrow night. I still think the Mustangs have just a little bit of an edge. I've actually got this one in a coin flip, Stockdale 21-20.
Stockdale 15 team in D2. North Tide the 6 team in D5. And you're going to be banned from Oildale. We were there last week watching them, and we both talked about how big North High was. I'm going with the Stars.
That's why I'm giving it you have such a big disparity in what you just said between D2 and D5, and that's why I'm only going a 1-point win. Because guess what? I only get this thing right about 60% of the time on average. I've done these things about 900 times. I'm only right 60% of the time. I'm probably wrong on this one.
Next game, the Horizon League's pride
Please
and
don't
joy.
say that. I love going Naughty Pine.
KNOTTY. Last year's Horizon League darlings, the 9-3 overall, 4-0 Golden Valley Bulldogs. That is a tough squad, and they're getting tougher and tougher. Mendota at Golden Valley.
I absolutely love this game. What an opener. Mendota lost in the Central Section D7 finals. Golden Valley posted the best record in the program's history since 2006, back when Tim Harnett was still head coach. The Bulldogs lost a lot on offense, but I still give them the nod, 14-12.
I'm on the James Kane train, buddy.
Yeah.
It's the Mendota is the number 1 team in D6 though, and Golden Valley number 15 in D4. But I'm on James Kane on his side.
Next game tomorrow night, the Kern High Network Game of the Week. Our director, Julian Wilson, will be up there with myself and Rick Van Horn. The East High Blades at Scotland Yard against the Highland Scots. We talked about it with the head coach of Highland here earlier in the week. We've been pumping it up. Last night I saw a post of the thing on the Kern High Network, the Game of the Week. In like 1 hour, 688 likes in less than an hour. So this thing is building up to be an eye-catching event. East at Highland, Trevor.
After just 3 wins in 2023, Highlands head coach Mike Gutierrez, now in his 11th season at the helm for the Scots, is now the elder statesman in terms of time in service in their position at their school. There are other coaches that have spent more time, but he's the longest tenured coach in the Kern High School District now. He's also ready to get the ball rolling with Austin Hernandez and Nick Gonzalez returning for their senior season. And gosh, Frank Wright might be one of my favorite players in town right now, looking the part of a disruptive edge rusher. The Scots need all they can get with a tough schedule. With tomorrow night being our game of the week, I really like the Scots at home tomorrow night, 35-6 over East.
Wow.
So East High's the 14th team in D5 against Highland, the 11th team in D4. I liked everything I heard from Mike earlier in the week. I love the fact that these two schools are playing each other again. Little neighborhood war.
Little old SEYL rivalry. Yeah, a little East Side rivalry. And you think about how close those two schools are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, man, Highland looked good against Liberty in their scrimmage.
Yeah, I haven't seen them, but I know Mike does a great job. And I saw Independence scrimmage against East, and I think that Highland's just going to come out on top on this one.
Next game. How about this? The game will be at the City of Murals. If you've never been to Exeter, California, the gateway to the Sequoias, an amazing city. It's murals all over the area there. Great restaurants. Love Exeter. Get there if you can make it. However, boy, do they have a tough one. The Shafter Generals rolling into town. Trevor.
I'll tell you this right now. Gerald Perucci, as fiery as a coach as I get, but he's probably being pretty quiet about this. But he really, really wants win number 100. He had it in its grasp in the semifinals last year. Didn't get it. He's waiting for it tomorrow night. There's going to be a lot of fireworks and a lot of celebration at Exeter, but just not for the Monarchs. I think the Generals are going to come out with Ezekiel Osborne at quarterback. Seasoned 3-year starter now, just still only a junior, which is still amazing to me. They're going to come out and have an electric game. I've got Shafter winning this one in a huge shootout. These are two really, really good small school teams. 49-35 Shafter.
Wow.
Have some fun.
Yeah, Division 4, the 1 Shafter versus the 4, and there's no rain predicted. So I tell Gerald every time I talk about him, I'm going to talk about the weather. I
check the long snapper's number beforehand too.
Yeah, I hope. Well, yeah, I wish. Yeah, I won't. We're not going to cover that. I have Shafter all the way, and I wish this game was here because this would have been a night we streamed 2 games.
And next week, I'll just tease it in a second. We'll get to it in the fourth quarter, but we will be at Shafter next week. So if Perucci gets the 100th win tomorrow night, that'll obviously be something they're celebrating at Shafter. We'll take a short break. We're going to wrap up our remaining games and close it out all together in the fourth quarter. You're watching In the Huddle. We know that you're watching, and that means you're already on the team, so you better get in the huddle. We'll be back in the fourth quarter right after this. Welcome back to In the Huddle. Just a quick recap. The first quarter, Stan and Trevor and I tried to encapsulate the magnitude of what a weekend in the Kern High School District looks like with all of the activities that go on, and we hope you appreciated it. And as we move forward through the rest of the season, you see all the things that go into, everything that happens. 172 buses, 250 buses. That's just buses. We're talking about everything that goes on. Second quarter, we had Javier Valdes, the glue of the Achieve Magazine, and everything that you kind of see and hear. Javier's got his fingertips on all of it. Javier, thank you for that. Third quarter, we just started racing through the picks of the games that we have coming up tonight and tomorrow night during the break. These two couldn't let go of the Shafter-Exeter game. Let go, guys. Give it up. Let go of the Shafter-Exeter game. That's really got your attention. I got your attention, huh? Shafter-Exeter's got your attention.
I will not give up my enthusiasm of this weekend.
That's a big game in your mind, too.
That's a big game. Like I said, I wish it was here.
Okay.
I wish it was here. I wish it was here just for Gerald to be able to try to get that one at home. It's going to be great getting number 100.
And Exeter might be thinking, not on our turf.
Yeah, not on our turf. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. We've got a few more games to go to, and we'll close out the fourth quarter all in one swing. Centennial Golden Hawks. This is a team that I've got my eye on this year. I kind of said that in our first show. I said, but I'm really interested to see what Coach Sterrett does, because you've got all this talk about Bandy at Frontier. You got all the talk about Bolin going to Liberty. So now all of a sudden, Richie's there going, all right, let me see. Well, right out of the gate, Centennial at Redwood. Trevor.
I'm interested. I'm interested in you.
It's going to be interesting. Huh?
I'm interested.
The inside angle here, that's his neck of the woods. So,
well, that's not only his neck of the woods, that's his alma mater.
Yeah, I didn't want to give it away that bad in case they lose. But Trevor, Centennial at Redwood.
Centennial made a very surprising and deep run in the D2 playoffs last year after finishing, fourth in the league last year, which is phenomenal. There were losses to two D1 players to graduation, another one, a future D1 player to transfer. But I still think the Golden Hawks have so much led by the up-and-coming quarterback in Jet Santiago, Hernan's son, obviously, youngest son and brother of Jackson, who's at Yale now playing football. I've got the Golden Hawks winning this one, 26-20.
Stan, as you regale of the nostalgia of your life at Visalia Redwood, are you able to cut away from that and be a discerned prognosticator of football games?
We're going to find out. So number 10, Centennial versus number 11, same division
Another
2.
great game.
Wow. It's like my Lee Corso moment. I should reach down and grab a hat and put it on. I'm telling you, even though that's my alma mater, I love what Coach Sterrett does, man. Yeah. I think Coach Sterrett does such a good job at Centennial. He's such a good guy. And he's just infectious, and it's going to be Centennial.
Okay,
my alma mater.
Two great games back-to-back we just talked about. Now we move on to a very interesting game over at Santa Maria. Gorgeous campus, gorgeous area. We all know Santa Maria. However, Pioneer Valley has to welcome in the inaugural game of Paul Gola at the helm of Independence. That's no first-week gift for Pioneer Valley. Trevor.
He's back, so... Here goes Paul Gola off to the coast for his first game. First home win for Paul Gola at Garza Memorial in 2019 was over Pioneer Valley. First win at Independence for Paul Gola will be against Pioneer Valley.
Unique. What? Any idea on the score?
Yeah, I'll get there. 34-12, Independence.
Ooh. So both D3 schools, 13 versus 16, and this is Gola 2.0, right?
3.0.
I've been a fan of Coach Gola since we hired him at BHS, and so I'm picking Gola until it's time to not pick Gola.
Well, I'm telling you, man,
it's Independence, and it's going to be big too. I think
we talked about it with
that Valley League is just going to be something else. Yeah. When you think about BCHS, BHS, we haven't even gotten to their game this week. Independence, Highland, Ridgeview, that's a killer league. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one shakes out.
Almost
done. The most
done.
Competitive league in our town right now.
I think it might be the most competitive league in the central section this year. I really do. When it comes down to it, you're going to have 4 teams that are just going to be beating the snot out of each other every Friday night.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're almost there. Liberty High School, new coach, Coach Bolin, taking over for the guy, and it'll be the first home game in forever that Brian Nixon's not at the helm. That's a storyline in itself, but then again, when the ball goes up, it's all about those players. Highland at Liberty.
We got ourselves a playoff-like game right here.
Highland Bakersfield,
no, this
by the way.
is Highland out of Palmdale, the Bulldogs.
Got it.
But we got a playoff-like atmosphere in game one right off the bat here. New head coach Richie Bolin ready to get things started off. The Bulldogs advanced to the Southern Section D8 semifinals a year ago. Both return a ton of talent. Patriots have a massive offensive line and two of the top running backs in the county. And a defense to match that intensity, led by Brock Wattenbarger and Davion Day. Wow. I've got Liberty winning this one 42-28.
The High Desert kids are tough.
Yeah, they are.
But I don't know if they're tough enough. Number 259 ranked team in the state is Highland of Palmdale. Liberty right now is 55 in the state. Richie Boland's going to do a great job over there. And I think right now, like you said, every week right there is going to be a playoff atmosphere. Yeah. That's just the way it's going to be, but I got Liberty.
I think from the Upper East Side tomorrow night, where we're calling that game of the week, we're going to hear the noise over at Liberty.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever.
The craziness over there is going to be nice. Okay, last two games. Wow. This one's got some history to it. This one is locked and loaded with nostalgia through the decades. How about this one for the Bakersfield High School Drillers? They start off their season, and it's a season of noted promise. There's a lot of interesting stories going on with the Drillers at Edison. That's a big-time Week 1 game, Trevor.
Well, the Drillers have had the Tigers' number the past two seasons. I don't see it stopping here if Bryson Abbott and company have anything to do with it. They're just too fast, too deep, and too strong to not to kick off the season with a win. I think Rashawn Shee is going to take those Drillers up there to Fresno, and I've got BHS winning 34-14.
Wow.
On the road.
Wow.
BHS, the 8th ranked team in the section, Edison 16. I have not heard this much buzz about BHS since Gola was the coach there. Rashawn Sheehy, this is his time. I think we're looking at year three for him?
Yes.
Year 4. And I've not heard people talking about the Drillers like this in several years, and this is it.
Well, we were talking about, Ryan Matthews and what he was able to do at West High. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on a young man like Bryson Abbott, but, man, that kid can run. He's low to the ground. He's quick. He's elusive. He's strong. He's got the whole package. He rushed for over 2,000 yards last year. And it's his senior year, and I think he wants to do the same thing. He's got a better O-line in front of him this year, a more seasoned team around him. I think there's going to be a lot of great things, and it's not just Bryson. That's the second time. It almost fell on Javier
That's the ghost of Ryan Matthews saying, settle down, settle down.
I said I didn't want to put that pressure on.
Last game, and then we're done with this segment. Lot going on, lot of hubbub about the 10-1, 4-0 champions of the River League last year, and their social media platform is pretty solid also. The Frontier Titans at Oak Ridge. Trevor.
What a great atmosphere for the Titans to start off the season. They're going to leave Saturday morning, and they're going to get up there and get ready for a Saturday night game.
This is El Dorado by Folsom.
El Dorado Hills, yeah, on Highway 50 on the way to South Lake Tahoe. An extra 8 miles past Folsom, if you will. They're on the 50. After claiming the program's first perfect regular season, Frontier season came to a screeching halt in the playoff loss to Central. Oak Ridge lost to Folsom in the Sac-Joaquin Section Division I Finals. Both have D1 football talent all over the roster, kind of highlighted by Oak Ridge's senior tight end, Caleb Edwards, who's a 5-star recruit, verbally committed to Alabama. With a new quarterback and running backs, Frontier will rely heavily on their speedy receivers, Kobe Watson, Malcolm Watson, and Song Ginyu. But I really do think this one may come down to who has the most in the tank at the end. I've got a close one, but I've got Oak Ridge winning at home 28-24.
This is not a good show for him.
Or it could be a great show. Monday we might be going.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't really take a lot of time to do this. I really do, and and it hurts to not pick the locals, but I'm trying to be logical and authentic.
We're going to find out on Monday.
Yeah,
if the homer.
I hope I'm wrong, and if people don't like my picks,
the homer approach.
Yeah.
Hold on, finish that sentence. If they don't like the picks, what?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
I'll have them again next week.
Yeah, I thought something was going to come quite really consequential. Okay, your hey,
I'll stick Hudson on him.
I love the fact that he does his homework, so he knows about that school up there. Interesting to hear your thoughts.
Well, I mean, Oak Ridge is 21 in the state.
Right.
Frontier 64 in the state, 5 in our section.
It's not going to be a blowout for either team. It's going to be a hard-fought game for 4 quarters.
No, yeah. Listen, and I agree to a degree. I'm a homer, but I have to be, right? These are my schools. But I would take Frontier anyways.
Yeah.
I think that playoff loss was bitter, and it stuck in them for the past 7 or 8 months, and they're mad, and they're hungry, and they're not going to leave anything on the table. I've got Frontier.
Great job, fellas. We did that pretty quickly, and we've got about 3 minutes left. We're right on time. Excellent job. Thank you both for that. Fourth quarter is coming to a wrap, but a couple of reminders. Tonight, Chavez at Del Oro, South at Ridgeview. We talked about that already. And then tomorrow night, all those slew of games. Our game of the week, the one you don't want to miss, the one that you're watching on Kern High Network, is going to be East at Highland. Myself, Rick Van Horn, Julian Wilson will be there. Speaking of Julian, my man, great to see you. Thank you. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. Julian stepping in. And then a couple of special announcements here in the huddle. Arvin at Shafter is the game we're going to call next Thursday night. We will be calling the Arvin Bears and the Shafter Generals. You want to talk old school? Arvin at Shafter. We're going to call
Bring back the SSL.
We're going to call that game Thursday night. And then next Friday night, Garza, from where, fellas? Garza?
Fresno, Central Unified School District.
New school, exciting things going on there. Stan's had his ear to the ground, and some exciting stuff happening at Garza.
Named after a former head coach who passed away of cancer 10 years ago. I think it's a great tribute to Justin Garza. And that school, that football program has really come on the rise. It really shows you the true depth of talent in the Central Unified School District.
On that note, they are at Bakersfield High School. So, Stan, coaches that are going to be on the show next Monday. Coach Perucci, we're hoping to get from Arvin. We're hoping to get him here, the Arvin coach as well. Hoping to get him in here. And then in my notes, I had next Thursday. We were going to have Coach Sheehan here, but
I don't want to come back here next Thursday.
Stan, can you break news or not? Can we do it?
Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, I got news.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will not be doing the show Thursday here. It won't be here, and it won't be on Thursday. It's going to be on Friday on location at Bakersfield High School live. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. We're not trying to copy anybody. It's going to be our show. It's going to be in the huddle on campus at Bakersfield High School game day when they're hosting Garza. Time to be announced, so stay dialed in on the time as far as when we're going to have it, and we'll put that out on all of our platforms, X, you name it, we're going to put it out there. But how about that, Stan? In one fell swoop in less than 2 weeks, we already have an on-site in the huddle.
It's exciting to kind of see a vision come to realization.
And we're at the flagship campus, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good time for us to be there. It's a good game. The school's excited. The kids are going to be excited. We're excited because we're doing something new that's innovative for a high school level. It's a college game day thing, but it's going to be good. I'm excited about it.
On behalf of Julian, Trevor, Javier, who sat in that chair today, thank you, Javi. To our man, Stan, thank you. To everybody watching in the huddle, spread the word. A big, big weekend goes into effect here this afternoon, and let's not forget that all